Hey guys, it's Kelly Ann and welcome to another Flossy Friday. It is October 22nd. Welcome back if you've been around. Welcome if you are new. My background is a little different today. I am sitting still at my office desk, but I did move my actual sewing desk. So I'm not gonna try and make you sick, but this used to be right here where my sewing desk was, and I now moved my TV over there. I need to get myself a Fire Stick so that way I can play Pandora in here, or if I'm sewing, it now faces my sewing table. I want to say thank you to McKenna for helping me whenever I was questioning where to move my stuff in my office this last weekend. Thank you so much. But I can now still watch TV, and I'll just shift you back a little bit. The TV was in this back corner, and so I just moved the table over there, moved the TV a little bit. There's plenty of room for me to move this chair through there. And then the chair that actually goes with this table, it's also slightly broken. I need my dad to help me fix it. I don't know if it'll let me turn it far enough, but oh, it will. It's right here on the other side, and it's now a place that Stella can use it to get on and off of the windowsill. So since we're looking at it, that's cross-stitch storage, and then I have my bookshelves on each side of my desk, and there's more cross-stitch storage in that. But we have my stack of quilts that need to be quilted, except for the top one. The top one just needs the binding to be finished being whip stitched. So, all right. I'm done moving you. Don't fall. It's slowly falling. I feel it. I'm trying to catch it and get it to stabilize. Okay, so this week has been a good one. It's been really super hectic and busy for work. Have not gotten a whole lot of stitching done. I did get a little bit. So I will say that last weekend I went to my embroidery bee, and for the first time in a really long time, and that was a blast. I had a lot of fun. I am so glad that I got to see them. I went for just a little while, and then I maybe stitched like 2 days after that this week. But this is where I'm at. We're just going to dive right into stitching today, because mostly I'm going to talk about quilting, actually, because that's more of what I did in the last 2 weeks, and there's going to be more of that coming up. But I did get a little bit of this done. I got Ada done, UFO finished, started the word linen. I got my scissors finished. It is what it is, guys. This is the Let's Talk Stitching. Yes, Let's Talk Stitching by Hands On Design, Kathy Haberman. And I'm doing it on a 32 count Lugana from Pictures Plus Oaken. And I just absolutely love it. Changing up the colors. It doesn't look like a chalkboard. It's like the reverse of a chalkboard. Also brightened up the rest of the colors in the piece and changed a few things, and I love it. I think it's stunning. I don't know how I'm gonna finish it, but I'm thinking of some things. But yeah, I love it. I do still want to get this done as soon as possible, and I'm hoping that this next week I will give it a little bit more love and attention than I did this last week. But like I said, I worked on it a little bit Friday. I went to Embroidery Bee on Saturday, and then I obsessively worked on my Christmas version of the Halloween quilt that I showed you last week. Also, I like barely talked about the Halloween quilt last week, so I am going to talk a little bit more about both of them, the collection. So I will re-show the Halloween quilt and the Christmas quilt, but before we get to that, because they're just the tops, they are not completed quilts. But before I get to that, especially with rearranging my room, I've really been enjoying working on the quilts. And so, also, Nick has been working on all of her quilts. Nicole, she's been working on all of her quilts. And so, you know, I just decided, like, she was like, I have all this fabric for all these quilts. And I'm tired of moving fabric around and not having quilts. And it is easier to move quilt tops than it is multiple stacks of fabric to make quilts. So I just thought it would be fun. I pulled out, I have 6 projects that I have fabric for that I want to work on in the upcoming future. And that, I don't mean like by the end of the year, but, well, a couple of them. It might be 7. And then I have an in-progress quilt that I just need to finish the blocks and then figure out placement and move on about my day. So let me talk about that one first. These are the 10 additional blocks that I just need to piece. And this quilt is a turning 20. I've made one of these before. It was my very first quilt. I took a class on this with my mom. And she also did a quilt, but the ladies of my quilt guild finished it for me for my first college graduation present. And then many years later, I finally finished mine because honestly, I was being lazy and I didn't want to fussy cut some fabric. So moving on. So anyways, I have these 10 blocks, but I already have the initial like 20 blocks ready to go. But there's a lot of directional fabrics in this line. This is using the Tula Pink, what was it called though? Like, what was it officially called? Line work. The line work line, and then I got the True Colors line that had, you know, all the different, just like all the colors of the rainbow in different types of patterns. So I need to finish these. It's going to make it a monstrous quilt. It's fine. It's fine. One of these days I will have all the money in the world to have things quilted. Maybe. That's why there's a giant stack sitting over there. But I would like to get these finished and then that laid out so that way I can pick the order and go ahead and get the top finished being put together so that way I can move on with my life and not have this just sitting around. That would be fantastic. The next one in my stack, I haven't really figured this one out yet. So I live in the great state of Texas, and there's always blue bonnet fabric. Here's a really cool blue bonnet and like just wildflower fabric. You gotta have some bandana fabric. And then I don't remember which year this was from. I wonder if will it tell me? No, it's the Quilting Across Texas, but I don't remember what year it's from. And I don't think it says, I don't have a part of a cut that tells me what year it was from. Anyways, we have this thing called Quilt Across Texas, and different quilting stores throughout the state participate, and you can get like special fabrics there or like special patterns, and it's like a big thing. Like there are there are quilters across the state who will travel the entire state to all of like the hotspot shops that have something special. It's like a thing. And I can't remember when they do it because I don't think they've done it in the last 2 years. But usually, and it's been a while since they've come out with a panel to my knowledge, but several years ago, I've had these for years. I'm talking at least 5 or 6. They would come out with a new panel every year. So I have 3 of the panels since I started being a quilter. I have 3 of the panels, kind of like whenever I discovered it. So this is one of them. Way to go. Which is really cool. It is broken down by the counties. It has the county names in the different squares. But it shows, you know, kind of like a topical map of it. It's really, this one's really cool. I really do like this one. So there's that one. It's smaller. And I don't know. I just really like it. So that's a smaller panel, and I need to measure these panels and find out their ish size so that way I can figure out, do I want them to be all on the same quilt? Now, these 2, I think I want to be on the front of the quilt, and then it's like using these fabrics, plus obviously I would need to get more fabrics. And our local store always has, and it like literally has a Texas section. So you can get like cowboy fabric or cow fabric or barn looking fabric or barbed wire fabric or cowboy hats and cowboy boots and all the things. If it makes you think of Texas, it's probably there. So this was another one, and these honestly might have been from the same year. It's very possible. Oh, they might have been, because it's the same designer with the same kind of like thing on the... Alright, so this is the larger panel. So I have this one as well. So it's this massive like panel, and it kind of has the same map where you can see some of, not all, but some of the county outlines. But it has basically like all like the big symbols of our state. So the horny toad, the armadillo, the monarch butterfly, longhorns, just cattle, oil. I wish it had the mockingbird on it and like the yellow rose of Texas, but I digress. The state capitol, the Alamo, it has a lot of that stuff. So really cool. Has our state seal. Very nice. So I kind of I need to kind of like find out the sizes of these, doodle out how I would want to make this quilt with these 2 panels on the front and make that not seem so kind of like odd, if that makes sense. But also find more, like a little bit more fabric for it, because I don't want this to be like a massive quilt. Like this would just be for fun. A decor. Or I don't know, maybe it would be like a lap quilt. So like between a throw blanket and a baby blanket. And then this one was from a specific year. This one is from the 2012 Quilt Across Texas. So like I said, I've had this one for a while. So I wouldn't mind the front being more like rustic looking and then the back being this panel. Because it's a bigger panel. Now this is the state of Texas in red, white, and blue, where they kind of made it look like the Texas flag with the county outlines, but the fabric, the designs of the fabrics that came out this year for the Quilt Across Texas are in the squares. It'll make sense in a second. Okay, so it literally says Quilt Across Texas, and it's this really big panel. So I think it would be fun if the quilt, and I haven't, like I said, I haven't measured the 3 panels, but if the quilt wasn't much bigger than this panel. I mean, that's a nice like lap size quilt. This panel is literally a lap size quilt. So this is what I mean. The rest of the fabrics that were the rest in this line this year, they kind of like printed them in the county outlines. So pretty cool. That is one that I need to do a bunch of calculating on and kind of like just design it. I'm going to fold these back up when it is warranted really fast, because sometimes that is the longest part of the process. Okay. The next fabric that I have sitting next to me, this is its own little project. So I originally wanted to make this as a Christmas gift for Jackie. I found this at my local craft store, or not my local craft store. I found this at my local fabric shop, the Fabric Carousel. So I was originally going to make it into a pillow as part of a Christmas gift for Jackie for her office. Her office is flamingo themed. But I'm thinking it might be kind of cool to make this into a tote bag, because she likes using reusable bags and things like that for grocery shopping and stuff. But it might be kind of cool to have like a softer one, kind of like that one. Kind of like that one. It might be kind of nice to have this for, you know, like other type of shopping, or like if you're just like going down to visit somebody, you can throw a couple of things in here to just help transport or whatever. So I don't know. She's going to get a Christmas gift out of this because she loves her margaritas and she loves her flamingos. This is a really cool panel. It's the solar system. I'm not going to fully open it, but it's the solar system and it glows in the dark. And my cousin, and I love that it has Pluto on it, but all of the white on here glows in the dark. My cousin had her baby in the summer, and it's just going to be, I'm going to make a baby quilt out of this, because it's a big enough panel, and I just need to get coordinating fabric. I know, I'm a little behind, but it's going to be like a Christmas gift / baby gift. And I'm going to just quilt it up easy style, put some binding on it, and send this to my cousin for Jack. And then one of my good friends, this panel is about the same size. This one's really neat. That one's literally the solar system. So this one's really cool though. It's a Robert Kaufman. But one of my good friends who now lives up north, she had her baby like 2 weeks after my cousin. And so it's going to be a little bit smaller than the one for my cousin, but I don't think she'll actually end up using it. I think it'll be more of like a little art piece in her daughter's room. But I'm going to quilt that up and send that for Christmas for MJ. Okay, 2 last things that I want to work on. And I got this the last time I went to International Quilt Festival here in Houston. And I can't remember which shop I got this from, to be honest. But they were from Spain, I believe. I don't know. They were from a different country. And they had these panels and they were stunning. Gorgeous and stunning. And it has all the parts for you to put it together except for like backing. So you just have to find like a back. That's it. Backing and binding. But like as far as like the borders and stuff, and the instructions are not in English on the panel, but it's 2 really beautiful nativity Christmas panels, and they're like they're stunning. So that is the larger one right there. Feliz Navidad. And then these are the side panels. You can use them or not use them. Like if you wanted, you could just find a really nice like background fabric and do your own binding and not even worry about these. But I'll show you the instructions. You can do it like that. So these straps are more to like make the hanging straps. So it depends on what you want to do with it. But you get 4. You get enough. Anyways, then there's this little one. Anyways, I want to do something with this. I love it so much. And I believe, yeah, the 2 panels are the same width, and you can put them together. You can put one on the back. You can design a quilt around it. So I need to kind of finagle this one, see how I want to make this one work and what I want to exactly like do with it. Like, do I want it to be like a display? Do I want 2 displays? Do I want to use the other fabric that comes with it? I mean, in some regard, yes, a little bit, but in the way that the instructions on the fabric say, maybe not. I don't know. So the last one that I'm going to talk about that I haven't cut yet. So there have been plans with this one. I've talked about this one before. So this was my original quilt idea. And I've talked about this before. Cotton and Steel gives you free quilt patterns, and this one came out with their Cat Lady line. This fabric is the With Love from Porto fabric line. And this came out, a long time ago. And this is for a 60 by 60. I wanted to do this. And I got the fabrics to recreate my cats. So I have like a brown and gold, a white, and then gold. Because I was going to make a calico and an all white cat and some golden and white cats. So this was initially what I wanted to make. But I wanted to make it bigger. So I was trying to figure that out. And then I bought another fabric that wasn't a hard pattern or design, and the cats were going to be somewhat easy to make, like squares and half square triangles. And I was going to kind of do the same thing. And I even got like enough of the fabric that I wanted to be the binding, and I got enough of the fabric that I wanted to be kind of like the plain background color and all of that. And I can still do that if I want. But I don't know if I want. So I still have these fabrics to make a Gizmo, a Milo, a Tigger, a Potter, and now a Stella. And then these are the rest of the line. So I have 2.5 yards of the Apron Fabric. The Apron Fabric is this really pretty, there's like gold in here as well, like that's gold. It's mustard and navy. And the Apron Fabric is basically, it has this really cool border around the bottom, but the whole rest of the fabric is this plain stuff. So I have 2.5 yards of that. So I have a lot of this plain stuff to also be a big chunk of the background. So, and then I have a fair amount of this border that I can incorporate that somehow in the design, should I design this myself. Like if I have enough width-wise to make that like a bottom border of the quilt, because it's, you know, it's like they're on the ground with these little birds and things. That could be kind of interesting and kind of cool. So another idea that I kind of like toyed with is doing a block of the month style quilt. And basically this grunge would become like my border on the outside of the quilt to like frame it. The speckled part of this could be more of like the background fabric, with this being a really cool border fabric at the bottom. And then I have these 3 from the actual fabric line. So I have the cats, I have the funky birds in the mustard, and I have a yard of each of these. Actually, I might have a little bit more of this one. Maybe not. I have the lemons, and then I have the tiles, the cute little tiles. And then these are not from the same line. These are, I forget which line these are from. I don't even know if they're from the same line, but I don't have the, do I? Yes, I do. The mustard one is from Sienna. This might also be from Sienna. This came out a couple years later. Yes, these are both from Sienna. The cool thing about Cotton and Steel is that it's like 6 designers, okay? And this was one colorway. Another colorway was like teal and pink. But they use a lot of the same colors. So a lot of their collections, even if they aren't the same collection, a lot of them can seamlessly go together because they use the same, like, to keep it simple, hex codes of the colors. Like, these easily all go together. These are all from With Love from Porto. These are from Sienna, but they easily all go together because of the colors. So I'm thinking about doing a kind of like block of the month. And my friend Ashley, she has a couple of Tula Pink books, quilt block books, or quilt. She has one quilt book by Tula Pink and one block book which has 100 blocks. And I kind of like snagged pictures of the ones that I liked the most to kind of just like tinker in my mind with, but I do have access to the book. But I was thinking about maybe making like a custom quilt, my own kind of like block of the month with these, and I would also still incorporate these fabrics, just not as a cat stitched on the quilt, but throw in the colors, because in my opinion, these 3 colors go nicely with these colors. And that's my opinion, and it's my quilt. But yeah, so I think it'd be kind of cool to add little touches of like my personal cat colors into this quilt with cats on it. Instead of making it a dedicated, this is my cat quilt, basically. So that's something that I am also currently working on. Although I do still really love this pattern. It was a free pattern. You might still be able to find it out there. It's not on their website anymore. Now, if they still have a blog from back in the day, that's a different story. I am not sure. So you may be able to find this. It was by Sarah, the fabric design was by Sarah Watts, and it is called the Cat Lady Quilt, and it was using the Cat Lady collection, and Sarah Watts designed majority of it for Cotton and Steel. So I don't know if you can still find this. Maybe Sarah Watts is allowed to have it on a blog now, because that's kind of, I don't know if it works the same as like cross stitch patterns in a magazine, where like typically 6 months or so later, if the designer wants to release it themselves, they can, but the magazine gets it for a set amount of time. I know it's minimum 6 months. I guess depending on your contract, it could be longer. But I'm not really sure. So you may still be able to find this, but it was a free pattern at the time. If it's no longer a free pattern, I cannot speak to that. So last week I showed you the kitty corn. Now, I didn't really talk much about the actual fabric. I talked about it like a previous week or so. But this is the kitty corn collection. It did come out by Moda, by the designers Urban Chicks. Now, the Christmas version of this is also by Urban Chicks, came out by Moda. So you can kind of tell like their style and design is very similar with these 2 collections. I absolutely love them. Yes, I'm going to fully open it for you. I won't the Halloween one. I did that last week. But I love this. It's like a vintage 70s vibe, but with Halloween colors, but also not. It also has like the 70s Halloween, like it just has like that vibe, like especially with these flowers, like spooky flowers. Anyways, The Christmas one, the colors remind me of those little putz houses. The snowman look like the blow mold snowmen. And same thing with the Santas. And then who doesn't love a little reindeer? But yes, I absolutely love this. My panel that I had for this was the snowman, because I have like a special place in my heart for the little snowmans, like the old vintage style snowmen. So let me go ahead and show this to you. I put this together in 2 days while binge watching You season 3. So this is just, it gives me life. So here it is. So this is the top part. It's a little bit too big to show. Well, I have more room now. Maybe I can come back far enough. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm going to kind of split it though. So you can see there is my snowman panel. And they both came out about 60 by 80, which is the size of the top of a queen quilt, or a queen bed, like a queen mattress is 60 by 80. And so that's about how big it is. It's about the size of a throw blanket. So I absolutely love them. I'm so thankful of how they turned out, and that I decided to redo this one. I will say now I do have a charm pack left of the Oh Dear collection and the Sweet and Swell collection. So the Sweet and Swell is the set that has the Santas and the snowmen. And the Oh Dear collection is the one with all the deers. And so I have a charm pack left of each of those that I don't know what to do with at the moment. But I just love the you know, like the bright snap of the aqua and the pink mixed in with the greens and the reds, and then that little bit of yellow. It's just really... These are like the Christmas vibes that I'm always looking for. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last week. I've been making another quilt. I've been organizing my other quilt projects and kind of starting to doodle out what I want to do with those. I have stitched a little bit, but a lot of it has been quilting and rearranging this room and getting back into the swing of things with working out. And you know, the mental exhaustion with this job is real, and it's because I haven't had to use my brain this hard in such a long time in a working environment. And so it's just getting back used to the vibe of being mentally exhausted, but still needing and wanting to get things done when the day is done. So it's trying to like refine that balance of, I need a lot of sleep. I need social time. I need to eat on days that I'm eating, or fast on days that I'm fasting, and hard days don't allow me to break my fasts. Getting in all of my my fluids, which I've been hit or miss on. I'm sometimes getting I'm getting over a gallon of water, but I didn't get in my electrolytes, which is not great, or my magnesium, which is not great. So trying to refine the balance with everything going on. And the holidays are coming up as well. So I've got to, some of these are higher priority than others. Does that mean that that's the order that they're going to get done in? No, does not. That's not what that means. But there are a couple, I will say this is probably, this one would just be fun to work on, as is the Texas one. But if these waited until next year, it would not break my heart. This one, the next step with this is just getting these blocks together. And if I can at least have that done, and it, you know, like, I want to get this top done. It's so close. I just have to get 10 blocks put together. Figuring out the layout is going to be the hardest. Probably going to have to go a day whenever nobody else is up at the shop and use her floor and maybe, and you know, and just lay it out and figure it out, or take it over to Ashley's and like we'll move the couch and she can help me figure out the layout. But to get this one, just get the top done, like just get it pieced. So this is probably like a next priority. And then these are the next priority. But does that mean that I'm not doodling out ideas for this block of the month cat quilt? No, I'm still doing that. Because obviously I still have to go to work into the office sometimes and take my lunch break. So I'm working on that sometimes there and figuring that out, and you know, doing my calculations and designing out, you know, the layout and where I would want things and whatnot. And well, obviously I can't quilt at work, so yeah, so some of it's going to kind of simultaneously happen, but a couple will probably get put on the back burner for next year. Now, I do know that next year for Christmas, I do want to get 2 lap quilts made, one for my dad, one for Jackie. So at kind of like the start of the year, I'm probably going to be searching for some fabrics to do that. And yeah, so that'll be really fun and exciting. But yeah, I love getting back into quilting. And again, like, I also just feel more like free and unrestricted in my office as far as work goes. It just felt very claustrophobic with this here. And I kept on like organizing and decluttering and moving things around, but I wasn't paying attention to the actual furniture. And yeah, it catches my eye every time I walk past down the hallway. I'm like, what happened in the room? Like, where are things? And then I go, oh yeah. But once that becomes, you know, like more normal to like see out of the corner of my eye, being in here, I feel more comfortable being in my sewing / office room. And so, yeah, now I just need to get that fire stick, which will be fine because if I'm not using it in here and I do have like a guest or something, they can take it from here and plug it in the guest room and be able to access like TV and stuff. So, yeah, I just need to get one more fire stick and then I should be good to go. Obviously, always decluttering and getting things done, but you know, other than that, just making a small pile of quilts to eventually be quilted. And that is something that I would like to strive towards, is slowly putting, you know, some money aside to you know, as I make some of these, get them done. But I love quilting, but I only quilt and make quilt tops when I have something that I really want to make. So the only other quilt that I have in the works, or, you know, like fabric in the wings for, is I want to make a Snoopy quilt. I want to make a quilt for my guest bed. But I'm slowly collecting some fabric that can like represent every month of the year. So next year, that's going to be something that I am also looking for, is more like seasonal Snoopy fabric. So that's something that I'm keeping my eyes out for. So that way I can, it would kind of honestly be like the Christmas or Halloween one. I don't want to do anything crazy. I just kind of want to make it a crazy quilt of Snoopy fabrics. So anyways, I will see y'all next week. I hope that y'all are having a fantastic week, and thank you for sticking it out. Oh, I did want to say that I do have some D-stash on my Instagram. If you want to check it out, it's a couple of photos in, but I do have some D-stash, so please check those out on KelliAnn86. They're on Instagram, and if anything interests you, let me know, and we can make that happen. And yeah, I hope that y'all are having a great week. Have a great weekend, upcoming week, and I will see y'all next Friday for my birthday, because my birthday falls on Friday this year. So I will see y'all then. Love y'all. Have a good one. Bye.